I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me to have the time to work with Shelby and to fill out this report. It really meant a lot to me. I enjoyed getting to know her a lot better and learning about her very unique history. One of the things that I have learned in my years of nursing is that everyone has a unique history and it kind of makes them who they are. And in Shelby's case, her time and the things that she's been through in life have just really helped shape her into a very unique person, and it was very enlightening. What I wanted to talk up to you about is some of the information that I found. I do know that y'all are kind enough to give me the list of her diagnoses and the different things that y'all are working towards, some goals that you're having related to those diagnoses with her hypertension and her diabetes, how y'all would like to use diet and exercise to control some of that, and also how you have already taken the opportunity to evaluate her situation with living and her activities of daily living, and you've gone ahead and moved her into an environment where she has able to do everything on one level now instead of having to climb up and down stairs. And I think you even mentioned that it had been really, really good in that she hadn't fallen anymore. So I know that that was something that was very important to y'all. I took the opportunity to print out a medication list for you, and each one of these, the list does have what it's for and the side effects of the medication. I noticed that when I was speaking with y'all, one of the things that was very important was the fact that Shelby's balance was an issue. And as you can tell, the number one side effect of over half of her medications is dizziness. That could definitely be something that you could review with the doctor. You could also ask him if there's maybe a substitute for those particular drugs that may not have dizziness as the main side effect, if that is a concern. If you were to present it maybe in this complete form, I know that she does have a neurologist and she has a primary care physician and she also has a nephrologist that she sees. And any of those guys should be able to take this completed medication list and look over it and to make sure that there isn't some changes that could be made to it. In regards to her medication list, is there anything that anyone wanted to ask about that now that you have all the information in front of you?
I did. Some of these look like duplicates. Some of the medications seem to be duplicates.
That is one of the things that I was very interested with myself. She had 3 or 4 different types of medications that she was using for pain control. She has 3 or 4 different types of medication that she's using for hypertension. There is also 2 medications that she is using for restless leg syndrome. Again, having a complete list printed out there and it would be easier for y'all to review it, maybe also can create an opportunity for y'all to have a conversation with her primary care physician. Our primary care physicians are sort of like the ringleaders of the 3-ring circus, in healthcare. They're supposed to be in a position to tie everything together. And sadly enough, with the way healthcare is so compartmentalized and everybody does their own little thing now, sometimes that can get lost in the shuffle. And a lot of that does lie on our family and our patients themselves to kind of keep all of this information together. So he would definitely, or she in this case, would definitely be a fantastic avenue and a reference for y'all to say, do we need to be on 3 separate types of hypertension drugs? And can we find one that may be able to combine the cholesterol medication and hypertension and see if we can eliminate it? Ultimately, it is up to her physicians and what they feel is going to work best for her. There's also another reason why sometimes reviewing a medication list can be very helpful, and that's for money. All of these medications have copays. And so, with tight budgets and the things that y'all had mentioned to me that are changing now, especially since Urban has passed away and y'all don't have the extra income and you are looking for ways that you can make sure that you can take what money that Shelby has and really help to provide her with a very long life and comfortable life, that might be another thing that y'all can look at is taking some of these medications and seeing if there's either a generic or if 1 or 2 of them can be combined to do something other than that. So, how about you? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, are there any other medications for Alzheimer's?
That was one of the interesting things, that she is on the on one Alzheimer medication, and it was actually one of the very first medications that was developed for Alzheimer's. So it was developed back in the late 60s, early 70s. They have had great success with it. Again, talking to her primary care physician, even her neurologist, someone who is monitoring the different types of symptoms that are associated with Shelby's Alzheimer's would be a good idea. One of the reasons why I think that he has kept her on this drug is because it is a good drug, it is a solid drug, and as long as she maintains a nice stable environment and we can keep the balance issues down, I do find that in my conversations that I had with Shelby, she did have very good recollection and very good recall, not only for long-term things that happened to her when she was younger, but also some of the things that have just happened in the last year to 18 months, which with someone who's been diagnosed with a mild to moderate, and now she's slipping more towards moderate to severe Alzheimer's, that really shows a great deal of benefit to you. So if there's other symptoms that are starting to develop, then a primary care physician would definitely be a good way to manage those.
Okay.
Anything else?
How often should you review the medication list?
If there is ever a time when a medication is added to Shelby's regimen, you should always request to see if it's going to interfere or interact with any of the medications that she's already on. If the primary care physician is not in a position to answer that, your pharmacist is an excellent resource for those things also. So before you were to have it filled, you can always say, we come to the store, we have all of our meds here, could you please just double check? They usually have programs, and that's one of their primary goals, is to make absolutely sure that there's no medication interference and that the medication errors won't occur at least once a year. I would highly suggest that you update her medication list, that you would go back over it with her primary care physician and say, you had ordered this 3 times a day. We have bumped it back down to 2 times a day. We have found this benefit, or you wanted it 2 times a day. We found that it was more, we've noticed that she's taking it 3 times a day. Do we need to change the prescriptions? Do we need to adjust her milligrams or the dosage itself? Okay. So that is definitely something that would be worthwhile. So there's 2 different times. If there's ever a medication that's added to it, or if there's, at the end of probably a good year, making sure that everything is still good.
Mine wasn't necessarily on medications, but is there a service that we should probably look into putting her in?
There are several services that are available. Y'all live in Cartersville, part of Forsyth County. Senior services in the state of North Carolina are divided up in chapters, and we are in a G chapter, so everybody within our area includes Stokes County, Forsyth County, Davie County, Davidson County, those kind of counties. They're all together. And what I will do is, before I leave today, is I will be more than happy to write down the telephone number. There's a primary office in Winston, and there's another one in Greensboro. And those are for the senior services. And they will be able to provide you with a list of everything that's available. And you can also be very specific about your area. Say, I live in Cartersville, I live on Linville Road. What kind of, is there a service, our senior center that's close by that we could take Shelby to twice a day to go, or twice a week to go play checkers? Or do y'all have a library that does something very specific for people with Alzheimer's? So there's very good programs that are available, and I will be more than happy to provide that number for you. Okay. Is there any other questions that I can answer for y'all at this time? Anything else that you had any concerns about with Shelby? Nothing?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I enjoyed it, like I mentioned earlier, talking to Shelby, having known her for so long. It's really neat to get to know a little bit more about her personally and her history, and learning about that. Also, learning how y'all have been able to take the tragedy of losing Irv and really keep moving forward as a family and stay together as a family, and then be there for Shelby, your mom, and knowing that it's so important to keep that going. So I appreciate it again, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. And please feel free to use me as a resource at any time as I go through school, and then afterwards, of course. And I will always help any way I can. So thank y'all.
you.
Thanks.